We just waiting for them to come on in. There we go. There we go. Well, I got it on my end. I don't know if y'all can get on y'all end. But hold up 1 second. You know what I'm saying? Let them get in here. Let them get comfortable and everything like that. Lamar, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I can see you. You can see me?
Oh, no, I can't see you, man. I see you like a background.
There I
Okay,
go.
there we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Now, I didn't get a chance to introduce you, but at the end of the day, it's worth the wait. We got our man right here, Lamont Adams, Lamond Muhammad, and this man here. I mean, you guys been talking about him, and I finally got him on the show. Lamont Muhammad, one of the Hillside's greatest. Football, basketball, and whatever else he do, he's here. What's going on, baby?
Ain't nothing. Peace, good brother, man. Good to see you, man. It's a pleasure and an honor to be on this show.
All
I
right.
mean, to talk about the little great town Hillside, man. I mean, a lot of people sleep on us, but
Yeah.
we got some giants in that little town. And as we talk, about what we've been able to accomplish in that little town called Hillside, I mean, when people encountered us, they knew that we was a force to be reckoned with
Oh,
in the years that I was there. And it just is a great honor. We was so much family oriented there. I mean, Coach Griffin was a great man that instilled a lot in us. And we just had so many ballers that was dedicated to the craft. And to be honest with you, our practices were so competitive that when we got to the game was lightweight stuff, or the people that we had in practice. I mean, you talking about we in practice going against Dwayne Arrington. That was before I got varsity. You got Dwayne Arrington, Hanif Jenkins, Darryl Purnell. I mean, it was so many people, and the practices was like games. I mean, like, if we had YouTube back then to come to our practices,
yeah.
I mean, it was like wars, for
Yeah.
real. But it was all about us getting each other better. We was really a tight-knitted family, and that's thanks to Coach Griffin. We ain't have no animosity. There was no jealousy, no envy. Everybody knew their role. Everybody knew their lane. And we just was a talented group, man. And we believed we could beat anybody. We didn't care who it was.
Yeah.
The philosophy that Griffin instilled in us and the confidence that we had in our craft, it wasn't nobody that we came against that we didn't feel that we could beat. From Irvington to St. Pat's to Elizabeth. My senior year, we went into the Dunn Center and we beat Elizabeth, the Group 4. Now, here's a Group 2 school. Now, we was Group 2. We wasn't Group 4, but here's the Group 2 school beating a Group 4 school in the Dunn Center. So, whatever you want to build about, man, but, even just playing at Central, I mean, you just couldn't come to Central back then with no mediocre game. I mean,
Let's get to that, Lamont. Hold on, wait, brother. Let's take baby steps now. Now we got 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We got 30 minutes. Now, that's absolutely right, man. Like everything you said, I had to let you take over. I had to let you take over because you were absolutely right about Mo Griff, the way he did his practices, the way he commanded it. Like you were one of the students,
Right?
And like it's like I gotta ask you, how's the practices?
Well, I mean, one of the things was that it was so competitive. I mean, you didn't have an opportunity to be mediocre because somebody was behind you trying to get time.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to perform in practice. But I think the great thing about Coach Griffin, not that I think, the great thing about Coach Griffin that I know is that he demanded that we were student athletes. And I think that's the difference there. A lot of people want to play ball, but he demanded that we performed in the classroom. He
Correct.
demanded that we were respectful young men. He
Right.
demanded that to play on that team, to wear that Commerce jersey, that you wasn't disrespecting nobody on the team, and that you carried yourself as an honorable young man. So he
Right.
made us feel it was an honor to play for him. And that's why we practice so hard. And they established that brand coming to the high school, and after Mazik and Deron Parker and Stan Terrell and all of them guys had won the championship, they established a brand. So now when you walk in the gym, the brand was established, and when you put on that jersey, you wanted to uphold that brand. You didn't
Right.
want to be known as one of the people in Hillside basketball that didn't perform. So, once they won that championship, we would go through drills like everybody else. But then my freshman year, I got moved up to varsity in front, but I started JV. And I'm telling you, man, we had some serious wars, and Griff would just throw the ball up, and we would just be going at it. I mean, we had Snap, we had Brian. I mean, we had so many people, and they would do us spend some time, but it wasn't easy. I mean, we was going at it.
Yeah.
Like, for real, and so, sometimes Griff and Coach Sellers and them used to have to tell us, like, why don't y'all lighten up a little bit? But the wars
Really?
was necessary. Yeah, I mean, the wars was necessary. We had some real wars in there, like, what I mean, because we understood what it was hitting for.
Yeah, but and Lamont, now I'm gonna pick your brain a little bit because, like, your name came up the most. Your name came up between you, Victor Wells, and my brother Kurt Direct. Yo, your name came up the most, and like I didn't know that you was a freshman playing with varsity.
Yeah, well, what happened, man? I just thank God for the brothers that like Dwayne Arrington. I mean, people don't know, man. I would get up 8, 9 o'clock in the morning and work out with Dwayne Arrington and Delvon. I mean, we would spend hours working on our handles, doing shooting drills, and at the end of the freshman season, we had lost in the JV tournament to St. Pat's, and Griff brought me up to varsity.
Yeah,
And a lot of them guys, Kenny, Michael Hudson, Terrence Glanton, a lot of us, we just used to play together, and they just, were just an honor to play against them, and they just would push me.
yeah,
So, and we was playing Mendham, Kurt. I mean, and we was in Mendham, and we was in the state tournament, and what happened was, I mean, these guys was giving us the business. I mean, they was setting screens, and I'm sitting on the bench like, man, the season about to be over. But Coach Sellers, who had a lot of confidence in me, he told Griff, he said, listen, man, you don't got nothing to lose. Put Lamont in the game.
yeah,
And he put me in the game, and I started picking up they guards. I was hyped, a freshman getting in the game. And, man, I just started picking up the point guards full court. And before I know it, man, we went on a run, and we came back. I mean, they was beating us by like 15, maybe 17 points. And we
yeah.
came back and beat them. And, people don't know, man, in 4 years, I played in 4 state championship games. Even though we only won one.
That's why. That's why
Yeah,
you're here tonight. That's why
yeah,
you're here tonight, brother.
yeah. And we won one, and we should have won the one my freshman year. We was playing Delsey High School, and what happened was Perv, who was Robert Thorne's, Perv was our starting center. Perv was about 6'6", and we had a state championship game up in Leona. No, we played Leona. They had this big buff guy, and then they had somebody that was about 6'10". And we was in Montclair, and I played, I maybe had 3-5 points that night. I hit a 3, but we gave them the business.
Yo.
And coming into the locker room, we was about to get dressed, and Perv said, "Yo, L, they called me LA." He said,
Yeah.
He said, LA, come here for a minute. I said, yo, what's up, Perv? So he showed me these like marks on his chest. It was like dark all around. I said, damn, that looked like chicken pox. And I said, you ever had the chicken pox? He was like, nah. I said, damn, Perv, that looked like the chicken pox. So what happened? He did have the chicken pox, and we couldn't use him for the state game. And what happened was George Meadows, wind up starting instead of Purve. Now, George Meadow, good guy, good athlete, you know, sound, you know what I mean? But the Delsey had a dude by the name of Demetrius Poles. He was like 6'8", 6'9". He was tough. So not for us not to have Purve really hurted us. It, you know, George gave us another avenue and aspect, and he played hard. And we was beating these guys by 20 points the whole game, and then they went on a run and came back and beat us, man. But yeah, you know, when I reflect about it, Isaac, man, you know, what we've been able to accomplish, sometimes we take things for granted. But to be in high school and to be and to play in 4 state championship games, and not only that, we won 4 state sectional championships, 4 state sectional championships. I think 5, because in order for you to get to the state championship, you got to go to your section.
Exactly.
So for 4 years, every year we won more than 20 games, right? And we went to the states, and we won the state sections. So you're talking about 4 straight years. Now you're talking about, and people say, well, it's group 2. Come on, man. I want to say this. When I was doing what I was doing for trying to get the court named after Coach Griffin,
yeah.
Somebody came on the web or on the page and was like, yo, you know, why you trying to get the court named after Coach Griffin? You know, all y'all did was recruit. So I had to go in on them. So first of all, I had to go in on them and let them know that we didn't recruit. We were so thorough. Yeah. Now I want to share something with you, that half of St. Pat's team lived in Hillside.
Hill.
Yeah, Lie Hill lived in Hillside, right? Yeah. You got Chris Edwards lived in Hillside. Howie lived in Hillside. Chris Clemens lived in Hillside. So now I'm trying to show you how thorough we was.
Yeah.
All of them guys that I just named lived in Hillside. And so we didn't have to recruit. You know what I'm saying? And then every time we played St. Pat's, we basically owned them. I mean, in the last year or so, when they started recruiting, but my junior year, we went to Roselle. We was undefeated, and we went to Roselle. And as we was in Roselle, and thank you, and John Bullock. So I named those 5 people that went to St. Pat's that lived in what they called the boondocks in Hillside.
Right? Yeah, LA talking his shit. Go ahead, boy.
So that go to show you how thorough we was. That it wasn't just, and we played them guys, and Shaheen too, because Shaheen lived with Chris Clemens. So you got Shaheen Holloway.
Now you talking about Shaheen Holloway?
Yeah, which came from New York.
Lamar, you talking your shit, man. That's why I need you on here.
So, you know, I had to let the guy know first he wasn't going to stop me from, you know, my confidence level. Once I get my mindset into something, ain't nobody going to stop me from what I got my mind trying to do. And my whole thing was getting grifter recognition. I wasn't trying to take away from Coach Silver or any of the great coaches. But what I'm saying to you is what coach established in less than 10 years is monumental. 2 state championships, 5 straight sectional championships, right? Won 20 plus games every year. And you could say, well, so that's going against Roselle, that's going against Central. And mind you, sometimes our schedule might have not been that tough, but we beat. He made sure that the people that we played out of conference was tough. You see what I'm saying? So you know that. So we was prepared. We played St. Pat's every year, and when Chimo came, you got to think we didn't really have no big person. Chimo walks in the Hillside at 6'7" and started as a freshman. And was good. Now look, my junior year we go to Roselle. We undefeated, Isaac, and the game tied up. And I come down and try to go to the basket. I lose control of the ball. They take the ball, lay the ball up, and beat us, right? The next day we got St. Pat's. Now St. Pat's is ranked 8th in the state. They starting 5. Check this out. They starting 5. Chris Clemens, 6'6". Charles Lott, 6'8". Chris Mathis, 6'5". Shaheem Holloway, 5'11".
Yeah,
And then they had a guy from overseas that was about 6'2".
Yeah.
So our starting 5 was me, about 5'9.5", 5'9". Isaac, Nelson, 6'2". Kendall, 6'2". Snap, about 6'3", and Chimo, 6'7". So the game started. They went on an 8-0 run. They thought they was going to run us out the building.
Yeah.
So finally, Snap, we had this play because Snap could jump out the gym.
Yeah. Yeah.
Snap, we had this play. Snap would come and he said, "Yo, LA, they'll set a back screen," and I would throw him the alley-oop. So we was losing 8-0. Man, I threw this alley-oop, Snap dunked on the whole St. Pat's team. You hear me? The gym went crazy. He went back door. I threw him an alley-oop. He dunked on Chris Clemens, Charles Lott, all 3 of them at one time. The house was crazy. I mean, it was jam-packed because what had happened was we lost to Roselle on a Friday night.
Yeah,
so
right.
We was 15-0.
Yeah.
Then the next day we had to come back and play St. Pat's on a Saturday afternoon because the gym was packed because St. Pat's was like 8th in the state.
Yeah, right.
We gave them dudes the business. You hear me? In Hillside with all of them people. Now you talking about recruiting. They went out and got all them guys, and the reason why they was recruiting because they was in parochial, but the reason why they recruit was to be able to deal with us.
Yeah.
And that day, we beat them dudes by 11 points. And remember, the tallest person we had, now I'm trying to show you the kind of heart we had. The tallest person we had was Chimo at 6'7". They had 6'6", 6'8", and 6'5". And we ran them jokers out of the gym. Beat them by 11, beat them convincingly. You know what I mean? So, and held Shaheem Holloway in check. He was one of the better guards in the state of New Jersey and held him in check. So you know what I mean, bro? We had some thorough guys, man.
Yo, Lamont, man, I swear to God, I was a young boy, man. I was always trailing behind Kurt, and I tell this story all the time. But at the end of the day, you are the man. You're the reason why I'm doing this right now. You're the reason why I'm doing this. I'm giving you your flowers. I'm showing you that love. Oh, my God. I thought Kirk was the only one to come up and actually be a freshman or 8th grader to come up and actually play on a collegiate, well, not even collegiate, but on a high school level. But no, it was you first. It was you.
Yeah, man.
And he followed behind you. I remember picking you up from practice as a kid. As a kid, man. remember you used to always call me Robin Harris. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't forget, bro. I don't forget. But at the end of the day, you was the man. You was the man. I can't take nothing from you. And you gave my brother an outlook that was just like, yo, this is what we doing here for Hillside basketball.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the brand, Isaac, it was so deep because even after Wayne left, Wayne's senior year, I was talking to my mother about it and we was laughing. Even the senior year, Wayne's senior year, which was our sophomore year, when we won it.
So that was your sophomore year.
Yeah, my sophomore year, we played Middle Township every year. Now my junior year, they just gave us the business. But my sophomore year, we got to the Rutgers, we got to the rack in Rutgers.
Yeah. I remember that.
And going into the fourth quarter,
Mm-hmm.
they was beating us by 15 points.
Yeah.
Again, the Griff, what he instilled in us, man, no matter how much we got down by, we never thought that we couldn't come back because we were so in shape. I think the other thing about that is he ran the hell out of us in practice.
Oh yeah.
To make sure we was in shape because we wasn't that big. So we had to use our speed and our athleticism to our advantage. So when we got to Rutgers at the rack, we was down 15 going into the fourth quarter. And man, we went on a massive run, man, and we wound up beating them in overtime. You know, they fouled Dwayne Arrington, and Wayne went to the free throw line and knocked down the 2 free throws, and the rest was history. But, you know, a lot of that confidence, you know, being around them guys like Dwayne Arrington, Terrence Glanton, you know, Kenny Moore, you know, all of them guys, you know, those guys that I looked up to, and they like helped nurture us, man. You know, they really took us in. And then AAU, I mean, we played AAU. I think AAU ain't as competitive as it was now, but AAU was competitive. And then playing in AAU, then playing at Central. I mean, I'm telling you, man, you just couldn't. I mean, you have, you know, people from all over come down to Central, man. And it wasn't no lightweight thing. You had Mike and Rich Brennan from Elizabeth come down there. Tat would come down. Tone Little. You know, I mean, with so many people, and Central in the summer on any given day would be packed. And you would just be sitting around waiting to try to get on the court.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the brand was tight, man. That little town Hillside, man, we had some serious Devin Long. We had some serious ballers, man. Serious.
Now, while we had it now, you moved it over to Central. Now, your experience in Central, you Lamont Adams, you the man. You going to college, you going to Temple. Basketball, football. What was your experience like at Central? Like just playing basketball?
Well, I knew, I mean, because of who I was, I know when somebody got an opportunity to go at me, they was going to go at me. So, you know, I always prepared to make sure that, you know, that I could handle my own. You know, I mean, there's a couple people, you know, you had a guy from St. Benedict's named Elijah. I forget his name. He was thorough. Then you had Chris Edwards that would always come down. You know, he was a handful. So we had so many people that was a handful that I had to make sure that I was a handful, that I could hold my own. So that's why I always practice on my craft and made sure that, you know, I could hold my own. And if you could hold your own down in Central, you know, you could hold your own down there. At that time, Central wasn't a lightweight thing to be able to get on the court down there because people came from people came from Irvington, you know, people came from Elizabeth, people Elijah Allen. That's like it's tough.
Yeah, right?
Benedict's, you know, so people came from all over the place. And on any given day, on a Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon, you'll be sitting around waiting five or six runs just to get on. And it was so packed that if you lost 9 times out of 10, you know what I mean, you probably might as well just go home. You know what I'm saying? Because you lost and it was packed down there, you probably wasn't going to get. That's how packed it was down there.
Yeah.
That if you lost, you know, unless you were somebody that people respected, you probably wouldn't get a run on there.
Yeah,
and
right.
Phil, look at that. Phil say Shaq came down to Central one time.
Yeah. Now I don't remember that story. I really don't remember that story because I was there every day. I was a kid, and I had no choice but to be there. And I don't remember that story, but I'm sure he came because if Phil said it, definitely he was there.
Then you had the left hand guy, Chris Gatlin. You know, he wanted to play.
He was there.
He would come down. He came down to Central. So, you know, it wasn't no lightweight thing. You know, Shaheen would come down. So you don't know who around that surrounding area. I don't know if Wally ever came down. Wally Dixon from Linden.
Yeah. You know what? I remember Shaheem Holloway coming down there.
Eric Dabney, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah,
I gotta get him. I gotta get him. I gotta get him on the show too. I gotta get him on. I gotta get him on. I don't know him, but I know you, but I don't know him. And they
yeah.
like your name comes up, his name comes up, Kurt names come up, Tat's name came up. I
And
gotta.
I don't even think about it. You know, the James Mazik, Darryl
Yeah,
Purnell.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, you know, they would come down. You know, you got Deron Park. I mean, you had so many people that would just come down that was like the place to be.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And if you couldn't play, you know what I mean, you just wouldn't be. You'll just be sitting there watching.
yeah. No, and Damien right, DePond, because DePond jumping right now. DePond jumping right now. I see that. I see what you just put. But yeah, but now Lamont, yo, oh my God. Yo, people been waiting for this. Now, let's get to this. Top 5 ballers you ever seen, whether you played with them or you ever saw at Central Park.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And you I mean like
I,
you up the hill, but you Central.
I say, I mean, at that time, you know, I say Tone Little. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? I definitely say Tack.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm trying to think, man. It just was so many. Uh,
No, stop Phil. I see Phil. He want to put top 10, but I mean like I gotta put
I
the
say
pressure on
Tone,
you.
I say Tack.
Top 5. He
Um,
said 10, but I'm saying 5.
I don't know. I know them two. They, you know, they Tone and Tack always stood out, man. We had so many people that would
Mm-hmm.
come down there. Um, you know, right off the hand, I can't think of a top five. But Eric
Come
Dabney,
on,
he said, he
Lamont,
said, no,
come
no,
on, bro,
no.
come on,
He
bro.
said Eric. So he right. Eric Dabney, Tack,
But
Tone.
I want yours though. I want yours. I need yours, bro. I need
But
yours.
no. I heard a lot about Eric Dabney, and
Yeah,
you
me
know,
too. Me too.
yeah,
I'm late to the party on that.
yeah. So I say Eric Dabney, Tack. I say Tone. Um, you know what I mean. Definitely got to include Wayne in there because Wayne, you know, would be down there every
Yeah,
putting
yeah.
in major work. Um,
I
I
mean,
don't
like, if
know,
you
man.
want to throw yourself in there, you can throw yourself in there.
I ain't gonna
I'm
throw
saying,
myself in there, but I know I put in major work down there. So you actually know, you know what I mean? But you know, if you want to put myself in there, but I don't, you know, I was always playing.
yeah,
And
exactly.
because
That's what I'm saying.
and that's another thing. You know, I very rarely sat on the side and just got a chance to sit back and admire because we was always running
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
Mazik,
right.
you know, and James. So that would be the top. You know, that would be my top five. You know, you got to figure James Mazik, um, Tack, Tone, and Tack, Tone, Dwayne, and Darryl Purnell.
Oh, you
And I
gonna go
can add
Dark Knight?
myself. You know what I mean? If we did a top 10, I know I could be. But those guys right there, when you came down, when you came down to Central, and you seen Tack and Tone and them out there, and people used to come sometime to just see Tack and Tone go at it. You know what I mean? Because you know, Tack and
Right.
Tone, people would just come to see them. When they was in it, you know, you had Chris Edwards. You know, he would be there too. But it would be some wars. It would be uh some wars definitely. But you know, people saying I'm on there, and that's a you know that's a great shout out, man. I appreciate it. But I'm telling you, we put in a lot of work down there. But I can go with that. I can go with that. Let's say Eric Dabney,
Okay.
and I ain't mad at him. This is a hell of a list. Now you talking about
Yeah.
Little Hillside. So you talking about Eric Dabney, right?
Okay.
Jack Tucker,
Okay.
Tone Little,
Okay.
and so we said James Z, Tat Tucker,
Okay.
Tone Little, Darryl Purnell, and who else did I miss? That ain't five?
No, you missed now and this is a guy that I don't know. Dabney? Dabness?
Yeah. Eric Dabney. So we see Eric Dabney, Tat, Tone, Mazik, and Dow Purnell. That's 5.
Yeah. You
That's
got 5 right there. But you see
Yeah.
now I gotta do my homework now because you my guy. You're my guy, and a lot of people came up saying your name in the top 5 for Central. Now remember, you up the hill guy.
Yeah.
But when you came down to Central, you was the fucking man. I mean, there's no getting around it, anything like that.
Hey man, well I accepted. I put the work in it, and I had to be that way. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
we had so many thorough guards, and going against the Shaheen Holloways and going against
Yeah.
going against Roselle every year, going against Central High School. Like you really couldn't be no chump. And then we scrimmaged Irvington, we scrimmaged
Yeah.
Orange High School every year. So, and then going through the AAU circuit, one of the things in the AAU circuit that you play tough guards. So
Yeah.
you can't be no slouch. Then Griff put us in the summer league at Linden and at the pond in Linden. We
Yeah.
was
Okay.
playing in the summer league out there. And then at that summer league, they had a guy by the name of Durock. He was about 5'11", um 6 foot, but this dude had like a 42-inch vert. I mean, he had crazy hops. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So, playing in those summer leagues at the pond really strengthened, our game. You see what I'm saying? So, just was blessed, man. To have a shot that's coming for me. You see what I'm saying? So we had to put in that work. And Griff, and like you said, Griff kept us active, and I'm glad Phil brought that up. But a lot of this stemmed too from Biddy basketball. That's where it really started at the
Yeah, and
pie.
I should have
You
got
see
on
what I'm
that. My
saying?
fault.
Yeah, Biddy basketball, and shout out to Coach Moore, who was our Biddy basketball coach, man. And even the Biddy basketball games was competitive. So now you come up in Biddy basketball, you already know the fundamentals. And see, this is key because we all played together in Biddy basketball. So now you transition from Biddy basketball to middle school. Then we got a
Right.
strong middle school. At that time, a lot of us went to WOK, the 7th and 8th
Right.
grade. So we had a league at WOK where we played every Saturday morning, dominated that. So now then you come from middle school and then you go to high school. So all of these people you playing with, you building a continuity, you building a love and respect for. So now when we get to the high school, Griff knew about us in 7th and 8th grade because James Mazik used to
Right.
rep the games on Saturday morning
Right.
at WOK.
Right.
And they knew about us before we even got to the high school.
Yeah.
So it was about building the brand, but that Biddy basketball was key because you begin to build your confidence at a young age. And then middle school, you just furthered it. And then we came to high school, the brand was already established.
Right. Yo, Lamont, man, I swear to God, yo, you took me on the tour tonight, man, and
Yeah,
I mean, to be totally honest with you, I started this because I needed everybody to know. I needed everybody to know because everybody's gonna see this right now. We live right now, but this is gonna go up tomorrow. Lamont Muhammad, the man of Hillside basketball. Like it gets no better. It gets no better. Everybody can talk about who they got or doing what they're doing, but at the end of the day, I had my brother Lamont Muhammad come up on here and break down how Hillside basketball went, freshman to varsity to Biddy basketball to everything. And I really appreciate that, man. I really appreciate you. And I'm gonna put this thing up. And Lamont, yo, much love, brother.
hey man, much love and respect to you, man. And I just thank God for what I've accomplished. I even told and what we accomplished, and I told my mom, if it be the grace of God, one day I want to write a book about it because it ain't, for a man like me to come out of Hillside to play in 4 state championship games, right? And
Mm.
then win the state championship as a sophomore, then leave Temple, right? And
Right,
then
Temple.
leave Hillside, right? and had a full. I was an all-state basketball player, all-state football player.
Yes.
Played baseball too.
Oh, you played baseball too?
Yeah.
That I didn't know.
I was so good in little league baseball. I didn't stop. I stopped when I got to high school, but man, you talk about baseball, my name ring bells, man. I mean, as far as baseball in Hillside, like one of the best pitchers, in that little league realm. I mean, I put in major work. But the thing is that to get a full athletic scholarship to go to Temple for football, and I'm going to close on this. My first year at Temple, I redshirted, which means I sat out, so I didn't play. I just practiced.
Right.
But one of my things was that I wanted to go to college and play 2 sports. You might not remember this guy's name. He was my idol in sports. His name was Charlie Ward. You remember Charlie Ward from the
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie Ward played basketball and football. So my goal was, when I got a scholarship, I wanted to go to college and play football and basketball. So when I got to Temple, they made, when they recruited me, when I got down there, they made sure I got a meeting with Coach Chaney. And I told Coach Chaney, I said, listen, when I would like to try out for the team. So because I redshirted, it was almost time for Christmas break when you go home. In college, you go home for winter break.
Yeah.
And about 2 days before I was about to go home, the basketball office from Temple called me and they said, listen, Coach Chaney want to take a look at you. And man, I'm telling you, they had YouTube. I walked in there, right? So somebody walked in, they was 6'5", they had a couple six, they had a 6'11" dude. We had Rick Brunson, who was 6'4", LeVan Austin, who was about 6'5". But man, when the ball went up, if we had YouTube back then, I was putting in work. Now here's a man, just a state championship or all-state basketball player, already had a football scholarship.
Yeah.
My desire and my dream was to go to play D1 basketball. And let me tell you, I was putting in major. I was giving these cats the business. And you talking about this D1. This ain't no rinky dink. This D1 basketball, ESPN type. I was in it. So that first day after I put in the work, Coach said, come back the next day. Next day, chilling, putting in major work. Coach Chaney said, you know what? We want you on this team. That in itself is phenomenal. Now, I could have probably went somewhere and played D1 basketball, but I was blessed to be good in football that I wanted to play D1 football. Yeah. But to go to a major D1 school coming from Little Hillside and to walk on to the team, right? And then, a couple games I played, I had crossed the dude over on ESPN.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know what I mean? So, that stuff in itself, I don't talk about it, but, you know what I mean? It's something major when you come out of that little town. You know what I mean? And come out of a little town like Hillside and do that kind of work and come to Temple and walk on to the team. That's like, ain't nobody just walking on to a D1 team and not making it.
Nah. And that's what it is about oh my God.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead. Finish doing your thing. Go ahead.
No, but those coaches, man, we gotta give a shout out to those coaches, man. Coach Sellers, Coach Hassan, Coach Griff, man. They definitely saw something in me, man. And I appreciate it. Sometimes, man, you people can see something in you that you can't see in yourself. And at that time, I knew I was talented, and I want to shout out, Damien's father, man, Mr. Dunn, man. They always would push me, you know what I mean, and always talk to me and say, Lamond, you got it, man. You know what I mean? Just go ahead and do it. Go ahead and Coach Sparrow. Man, we had some great coaches, man. And the other thing is that my father was always in my life. But those men was like Randy Fall. Those men was like fathers that we had away from home. You see what I'm saying? It was like fathers that we had away. And a lot of time, these young men today don't have those kind of father figures in their life. but it wasn't nothing that I couldn't come to those men and talk about. Griff was on us, even if we was dating a girl. Griff knew about who we was dating, and if something was going on that was unethical that he would hear about, he would pull the coattail about it and say, "Listen, man, I know you're your own man, but I don't think you should handle it like this. You should handle it like this." I mean, he was really serious about us developing into productive men. And I would say this, that the only thing that I regret is that we didn't do that gym thing while he was alive. Because like you said to me, giving people flowers while they live, that's real. But I am so happy that we was able to get it done. And we didn't get it done without meeting resistance. You know, it was a lot of haters, man. I got to let you know, when we was trying to get that thing done about Griff, there was a lot of haterade going on. People was trying to fight that thing. But I think Chris Cook, George Cook, who was a councilman, I think Anthony Salters, you know, I told him what I wanted to do. And, man, once I had my mind set on it, man, I wasn't going to let nobody stop me, because that man, Coach Morris Griffin, a hell of a man to accomplish what he accomplished in less than 10 years. You got coaches in New Jersey that have been coaching 20-something years that ain't never won 2 straight championships and 4 sectional championships and won 20-plus games every year. Here's a man in less than 10 years won 2 state championships and won 5 straight sectional championships. That's major. It ain't no way you could deny that. That's major.
Yeah. Yo, oh my fucking God. No disrespect, nothing like that. But Lamont, hats off to you. We give you your flowers tonight, man. It's 9:09. We about to go ahead and set this thing up, because we got to get this interview up. We got to get it up. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna hit you behind the scenes.
Okay.
And I'm gonna hit you. I'm definitely about to hit you. I'm definitely about to hit you.
All right.
Yo, I thank you for coming on my show.
Hold on 1 second. All right, hold on.
Yeah. Oh, what you talking about?
What is he doing now?
Oh, yeah, no. He about to hit me now. Got me. Yo, Phil, no doubt. A reunion. Yo, hey, Lamont, he talking about the reunion. Yeah. Phil talking about the reunion.
Oh yeah, we definitely got to do something, man. You know, we're getting together, everybody. I had talked to Phil, man. And we, you know, once all this COVID-19, all this stuff blow over, we really gonna get together and do something, man. Because you know, life ain't promised to nobody. We pray that, you know, we got time here on this planet, that, you know, we get an extension and we be here for a long, ample amount of time. But, you know, don't no man know the hour.
Yeah.
You don't know how long you're gonna be here. And I'm glad you had me on the show. And you know, we want to try to get these great men recognition while they live. It's one thing to recognize somebody when they're not here,
right?
But to acknowledge somebody when they're alive, and it ain't like we didn't acknowledge and honor Griff when he was here. Don't get me wrong, but I wish you would have did the court thing, because we had an alumni game, the first alumni game, and we had an alumni game, and everybody came back and we played the game, and Griff showed up and got mad love from everybody. He was hugging everybody, and he was just so happy to see everybody. But I'm thankful that we was able to get the recognition. And no matter what, when you walk in that gym and you see them banners and you see them plaques, you know, can't nobody take that away from us, man. You walk in that gym right now, and when they got a game, I don't know if they put all the banners back up, but them plaques are still on the wall.
Oh,
you know
are they?
what I mean? Yeah, them plaques on the wall. Them state championship plaques is on the wall. And you know what I mean? So I'll be glad when, you know, we get that competitive basketball back at Hillside. They made it to the states this year, but they got mollywopped by Lincoln from Jersey City.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got mollywopped by them, you know what I mean? But hopefully, man. Oh, okay. Phil said the banners are up. So they up
Yeah.
there. You
Yes,
know what I
sir.
mean? In closing, I want to say this, that my whole thing was our senior year, we wanted to win the conference championship, we wanted to win the states, and we wanted to win the Union County in the Christmas tournament. So I want to end this on your brother. We was playing Plainfield High School, and Plainfield High School had a guy by the name of Bashara Bryant. Man, they was killing us. I mean, it was just big and physical, and you know they was getting the chemo, and I mean they was beating us by like 15 to 20 points. And we just went on this run, man, and we tied it up, and they had two people sticking me, and we kicked it to Kurt, and we called Kurt instant offense, man.
Yeah.
Kurt
I remember that.
hit a 3-pointer off the backboard at the buzzer, and we won the Christmas tournament that year. I mean,
Yeah.
Plainfield was beating us by like 17 points the whole game. And, you know, Kurt really matured, man. He was, you know, he was instant offense, man. There ain't never wasn't a shot that he ain't like, but he was a scorer. Kurt, it wasn't a shot that he ain't like, but he could score. Flat
Yeah.
out score, man. We call him instant offense, man. So that's my guy, man. But I ain't gonna hold you, man. I thank you, man, for having me on here. It's an honor and a pleasure, man. And I'm glad to be recognized, you know, in that line with all those great people that they mentioned, man. It's an honor.
Yo, nah, man. No, thank you. And I mean, like, only because of time, I gotta get this up, and I know people gonna love it, man. I know they're
Yeah.
gonna love it. I know
Well,
they are.
thank you, bro. You know I'm here for you anytime you need me. You got my number, man. And it was an honor and a pleasure to be on your show. And keep doing this, man. People need to know about that little town called Hillside. When you
Hey,
drive up the Parkway, when you see that little exit, that say Hillside Township, we a small town, but let me tell you something, man. We was some people to be reckoned with in that small town. And when you encountered the Hillside Comets, you knew you was in a war. You
yeah.
know what I mean? You knew you was in a
Yeah.
war. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Yo,
All
peace,
right, bro.
brother.
All
Yo,
right,
I'm gonna
peace,
hit you in
man.
a minute.
Okay.
All right, got you. Peace, y'all.
Peace.